Hello, Thomas T. Cat family. Today is Saturday, December 27th, 2025. Leave a comment below, like, rate, share, subscribe, reflect, and discuss, and think about. And here's something, from my best point of view, about data. Data should be common sense. Data should be common sense because my point of view, who says this, from CBS Hesed Bowl with Michael Weatherly as he played as a child scientist, studied the behaviors patterns and collected data. What my point of view about how common sense is that to rely on data than just the lazy because I said so. Because trust me, if you don't rely on data and just use the lazy because I said so, you're gonna likely break mirrors. And in other terms, you're likely gonna have some hurt feelings. You're gonna have hurt feelings, and your relationships are probably gonna be damaged. And trust me, data can help save the issues. And my experience, when I mentioned to my dad in text message that about movie manuscript stuff, that I plan to ask for statistics, and probabilities, and he gave me the green light, saying, "Sounds good, son." Because you want to know the reason? Because the reason why is that if you ask about the data, the statistics, the probability, the calculus, algebra, or the math in general, that's proof. It's proof about why the data is real. So let's say, for example, I wrote the movie A Hillside Harvest. And I asked for a publishing company, what are my probabilities and statistics of Hallmark and Solid Drive Studios of them accepting my manuscript? And let's say they gave me Solid Drive, they gave me 90%. Hallmark gave me 100%. Because that's proof right there saying that I have the data to prove it. And that's something I'm very happy I remembered. Ask for the data on time. Ask for, after you submit the work to a publishing company to help you make changes or review it, ask them first thing that, what are my chances of the day? What are my chances, statistics, and probability for my movie being accepted to the Hallmark Channel next year? And the Hillside Harvest is an example name. Because also, another thing, data can prevent disappointments or shattered marriage. Because my point of view is this, that not just to Jason Boll was collecting data in CBS Bowl, all with Michael Weatherly, but from the movie Avengers Frost Fight. Tony Stark didn't believe in Santa Claus because he wanted data that Santa wasn't real. So Dr. Howard Stark suggested for Tony to write a letter to Santa and mail it. And when Tony got the mail back, it wasn't read, it was sent back. So Tony torn it up because he had his proof. He had data to prove that. And from the Polar Express, my point of view of the movie, with the hero kid, Evan Sabera, he had the data. He had the books, everything as a research project, like a college research paper, because he believed about the data. That's all he got. He believed in data and everything else, in my point of view, but the point is that data is set. Data is another way to express humility. Data can help shield you from disappointment. Data can also be manipulated. And also another thing about data, explains proof. So treat data like it's the defendant on the witness stand in CBS Bowl. Because that's the closest thing I can think of. But data is way different than the Hallmark endings. Because if you don't ask for data, you better hope for the Hallmark ending to happen. And if you don't ask for the data sooner, then you're gonna have a mirror shattered. And I mean completely shattered, to the point where the mirror is already broken apart, falls to the floor. And trust me, that will leave some damage emotionally. But that's just the way I see it. Is data is the best common sense. Instead of saying because I said so, soften the tone and just to explain the data. You can use this. You can also use my version of common sense when I say this. Look it up. Look up, for example, why I believe smoking can kill your liver. I always believe to research because that's my common sense. Because research can help you understand and the common sense. And another thing that's important is treat data like it's a research paper. Because when I was in my government class, Professor Ryan Brandt, and to lecture assignments and research assignments, and I made myself put a works cited page because as it's important to show your professor that to where the data was located. and that's just the way. And when you use data, as common sense, and because I said so, it's also building, and you'll want to understand someone else's point of view. That's just. So with data, you have to present it. Fair tone, not dismissive, but fairness. Yes. That's all I have to say about why I believe data is the best common sense. And don't generalize it. If you generalize it, then my point of view is asking yourself this questions. Where did you get the data from? Did you ask questions? And what happened to the questions that you didn't ask? Are you relying on personal experience? And those are the things you should consider asking of. Proof. Because I would call this running into the battlefield blind. Another time, it's making an assumption in which you don't have anything to back you up. And also consider this one to be important, but the best way to understand data is by asking questions about an issue. That's all you gotta do. Collect data by asking questions, so that way you can understand someone else. Facts. You want facts. You gotta research. You have to treat it like it's a works cited page. Because when you use data, and also ask then, and if you ask questions first, you save yourself from breaking a mirror. But if you just generalize saying that it's a pipe dream, even without data, or just use because I said so, then you're likely gonna. My point of view is that you better hope that there's a way to change your point of view. And it's not the Hallmark version, but it's gonna make the data clear and look it up. Data can also be used to humble someone else. So that's all I can say. So all of you, Thomas D. Cat, have a good night. Bang, bang.